Welcome back to Broken Electronics. I'm so glad you could stop by and join me in today's video. We're going to be returning to the wonderful world of the Mac G4. And you can see behind me an example of a Mac G4 MDD for mirrored drive doors for the obvious reasons that you can see on the front of the machine. This one is, however, somewhat different than one that's been featured in some recent videos. The competition between the Mac G4s is the one I'm thinking of. This is a FireWire 800 model. These were the culmination of Apple's work with the G4 processor, the most powerful G4s they ever released. And this is, if the seller is to be believed, I have no reason to doubt them. It came from a Goodwill, actually. They're usually pretty reliable. But then again, I remember the adventure of the sawtooth that's not a yikes. So, you never know till we boot it up and find out. But this is supposed to be a dual processor 1.25 gigahertz. The top of the line, as came from Apple, were dual processor 1.47 gigahertz. So we're one step down from the top. The MDD was released, the FireWire 800 MDD that is, was released in January, I think, of 2003. And discontinued in July of 2003, and that was actually pretty normal back then. They'd go about 6 months before introducing another machine, when they were supplanted by the first, in fact you can see back in the corner there, that's my dual processor 1.8 gigahertz Mac G5. That's when those came out. They took the place of this. There was one more MDD that came out, though. One without FireWire 800. It's a single 1.25. That was in response to a need that a lot of people had, a lot of audio professionals in particular, for machines that would boot natively into Mac OS 9, because there was just a lot of software that didn't run well under Classic and hadn't really been replaced yet in OS 10. So, anyway, this wasn't the end of the MDD line, but it was the high point of the MDD and indeed the Mac G4. So I'm really glad to have this. Now, the funny thing you may wonder about is the fact that I already have one. Why did I spend money on this one when I already had this one? Well, I'll tell you. And I spent a fair amount of that. It's more than I usually spend on a computer. On this age of computer, that is. This was the bottom of the barrel, the entry level of the MDD FireWire 800 models. A 1 gigahertz single processor machine. Relatively powerful compared to what came before, but it was the lowest. And as I said earlier, it went up as high as the dual processor 1.47. So, if things go well, we have a much more powerful machine. All right, I think now perhaps take a quick look at the outside of the machine, then boot both of them up one after the other to see the comparisons. So if you're interested in learning more about this, please stay tuned. Okay, so here's our new, as it were, MDD. Yes, the drive doors are in fact very mirrored. There are stickers on it. This barcode has got to be from the Goodwill, I'm sure. Yes, because it's dated 2021. On the back of the machine is an inspection sticker from the technician who prepared this for shipping. All right, here, Burton, I'm not really sure what that means. This appears to say Dakine, whatever. which is a sporting goods, outdoor goods manufacturer. I have no idea why that sticker's on there. Maybe it was their computer at some point. I have no idea. Let me take a quick look at the back. Here we got an empty slot there. ADC connector and DVI. That's a good thing. Power. The MDD was a hot running machine, so they certainly provided for ventilation here and the fans exhausting there. And even the slot covers. I've got a bunch of those slot covers, so no big problem. And everything else, we've got the USB 1.1, FireWire 400, 2 ports, and the FireWire 800, which marks this. Gigabit Ethernet and a phone jack, as well as the audio. Okay. Yeah, it opens with one hand easily enough. Single hard drive in there. Here's the rather large heatsink for the processor. There's only one RAM module in there. We'll see what size that is. And there's the graphics card. No airport. Well, I'm going to try booting it up. We'll see if that is a new battery or an old one. I think that's an old one. I'm out of those batteries at this point, but I can get some more. And we see, of course, the PCI slots, the graphics cards, and the AGP. But we have 4 empty slots for possible upgrades. Okay. The lower drive bay here for a second. I think that's mostly what they did with these machines, was second DVD drives, as opposed to putting a zip drive, although I'm sure you probably could put a zip drive in there. All right. And a whole lot of nothing down here. All right, well, we will get these machines booted up. Stay tuned. All right. Here we are booted up in my old FireWire 800 MDD. I have it connected now to the 20-inch Apple Cinema display that came into my possession when I got the dual-core 2 GHz G5. I can't get the camera any closer to the screen at this point due to the way I've got the computer set up, and I'm not about to try to move it at this point. MDDs are heavy. All right, so just to see some of the specifics about this, we have 1 GHz PowerPC G4, 2 GB RAM, and it is running on an SSD. All right, we see the under ATA. That's that Mercury Electra, which I could have used any SSD, but that's what I had handy. And then there's a RAID, that's the DVD-ROM. There's a RAID configuration on 2 hard drives in there. All right. Well, I'll be there. Okay, now back to hardware for a second. Yeah, 1 CPU. This, in fact, is the least powerful FireWire 800 MDD that Apple released. All right, but FireWire bus, it does go up to 800 megabytes with that one built-in FireWire 800. All right, now, what else we want to look at? The memory is there. Oh, graphics and displays, that's important. What it's got is an NVIDIA GeForce 4 MX with 32 megabytes of video RAM. I should probably expand this for you. So you can see that clearly. Sorry, whenever I move the mouse, it's going to move the entire screen now. All right, so you've got 32 megabytes of video RAM, which I mean, that's the bottom line, the lowest card that they did. Let's go back to the hardware overview so you can see a little bit more clearly now. 1 gigahertz, single 1 gigahertz. All right. And as far as PCI cards, what's in here, there is a USB 2 PCI card in there. It's the only one installed. And you see it is reading as the USB high-speed bus. All right, so I think what we need to do now will be to shut this machine down and take a look at the the new 2003 FireWire 800. Right? Stay tuned. Okay, so here's the desktop of this MDD. Has obviously Tiger installed. Well, nah, it wouldn't have anything else anyway because OS 9 wouldn't run on it anyhow. At least not to start it up. Let's have a look at about this Mac. And we see, yes, dual 1.25 gigahertz power PC. So that is for real. 256 megabytes of RAM. Glad they didn't try to install Leopard with that. It wouldn't run. All right. Okay. The same information. 2 CPUs, 125 gigahertz. All right, now ATA. Got a Pioneer DVD burner. That's a good thing. All right. We're not seeing exactly what the make of this hard drive is, but we can see that it's roughly 80 gig. Okay. Double check the disk burning. Yep. Both CDs and DVDs. That's good. FireWire is maximum speed up to 800. Okay, this is important. Someone see. It's an ATI Radeon 9000 Pro, which does have 64 megabytes of video RAM. That's clearly going to be the better option. Much improved over what we had there. All right, PCI cards. Nothing in there. Okay. All right. Okay. Good tech. How about that? Okay. Yeah, this came from a Goodwill. So we can take a quick look in applications. That'll tell us. This is a plain, clean, vanilla install of Tiger. Nothing done to it. So they obviously wiped the hard drive clean in preparation for bringing it here. Okay. Well, this has the potential to be the better machine for sure. So I think the way to proceed here is going to be open them both up and transfer the appropriate thing. The RAM, of course, from this machine, the boot drive, which is an SSD connected via ATA. Oh yeah, there's a USB 2 PCI card in there. Move that over. And that I think is about it. But all of those things moved over. We will have then 2 FireWire 400 MDDs. One that's about the weakest of the weak, and then another that's really going to be pretty darn good. All right, well, we'll get about that then. That'll be our next clip, is making those modifications. So, I hope you're interested in seeing that. Stay tuned. Okay. Now, one of the funny things about this, you're not going to be able to see it well. There are 2 hard drives in the bay back here. They are currently set up in a concatenated RAID array, and they're completely blank. I cannot for the life of me get this thing out of there. I just can't do it. I have tried and tried and tried, which I would like to do, because this is the ATA 100 connection. This one here is ATA 66. So I've got my boot drive here running on ATA 66, which is not optimal. Come on loose. Come on loose. I hate Molex connectors. Okay, that's separated some. There, finally. All right, so that drive. Now, what I'm going to do, in fact, I've already done it. I broke the RAID array, so it's now reading as 2 separate hard drives, and I'll put Tiger on the smaller one and Leopard on the other one, and then it will work. All right, let's get the RAM. The RAM is really awkward to get at in these machines. Now I'm going to have to go through and see what else. I'll put the 256 module out when I get it out of there. USB. And I will put a slot cover on here. I don't have them handy. I'm going to keep the screw out for now because I'm not sure if there is a screw in that slot cover that's open on that machine. And, oh, I had quite forgotten. There's an airport card. Well, might as well bring that over too. All right. See how well you can see here. See some things. Okay. Let's the airport card's connected. Let's get the antenna. Slide it through here. Stiff wires. Okay. All right. I hate connecting airport antennas. Well, I'll get that off camera. It's no big deal. All right, we got to get our .256 gigs out. Now getting this back in. I'm going to try to do that without taking out the graphics card. Okay. That's in. between the, actually I think it may be easier to do this one first anyway. Come on. Get. You don't like me, do you? All right, that's in. Yeah, it's just that there's no room to work in here. Now, if I took the graphics card out, it probably would end up less time just taking the darn card out. So I have some room here. But no, that would be too easy. All right. Yeah, in fact, that screw isn't there. All right. That's in place. Get that screwed in. All right, now I'll move you. Yeah, it's a reasonable angle. Okay. Now, this is a bit of a pain. Let's get the Molex connected. All right, there'll be power to the drive, and then jeez. What a pain. What a pain. Okay, look, I'm going to stop torturing you. I'll get this done. Stay tuned. Well, just as well that I didn't get it first, because I remembered that I was going to have to re-jumper the adapter here. It was set to master from when it was over here, so I had to re-jumper that to slave, because that's going to be set as the master on that channel. All right. And I did get the airport antenna plugged in, and we're solidly connected now. All right. Let's connect it, boot it up, and see if it runs. Stay tuned. Okay, we appear to be having success. I spared you the chime, which was very nice. There is currently that installation of Tiger here on the hard drive. I'll be getting rid of that. I'm just waiting to get the cursor back so we can boot it into Leopard. So far, so good. Okay. And here we are. That was a pretty quick boot. Yeah, that PRAM battery, I do have to replace that. Okay. Looks just like the other MDD, except We have dual 1.25 gigahertz PowerPC G4. Hooray! And our 2 gig of RAM are all reading, so that got set up. All right. So there's our 2 drives now, the original 80 gig hard drive and the SSD. It's a 500 gig SSD, which has got Tiger and Leopard on it. Tiger, 80 gigs, Leopard is more on the order of 400. Plenty of room for what's going to be done with this machine, certainly. All right. Disk burning. We do have a disk burner in here. Yeah, let's see. Was it Pioneer? Pioneer, yeah. Yeah, Apple used a lot of those. The FireWire 800, of course, is built in. And we still have our ATI Radeon 9000 Pro, which I didn't have to do anything with. There's all of our memory in place. USB, well, let's look at PCI cards first so we can see. Oh! That's interesting. It's saying there's no driver. Yeah, so it's not reading that hub at all. Now, that's interesting because that card worked with no problem in the other machine. Huh. Well, I've got some other USB cards. I'll fiddle around with that. That's not too big a deal, really. All right. Oh, and the airport card, yes. So we've got Airport Extreme, USA. Airport is currently turned off. Let's open Network Preferences. New interface, yes. So we just turned it on. And it's reading all of my networks. I'm going to log on to Home Airport. Since you can't see my password, I will not click Show Password. Connection failed. Okay. Let me try typing that in again. Huh. Okay. Let's try the guest network. And it doesn't seem to be. Huh. Well, you know, if airport doesn't work, this is hardly a big deal. I always plug these things in anyhow. I'll fiddle with that, and I'm going to see what I can come up with for a USB 2 card. I'm sure that will happen in there. I am a little surprised that this one didn't work. But basically, I'm going to consider this a success. This is a much faster machine. It's got you know, the dual 1.25 gigahertz processors. It's got the ATI Radeon 9000 Pro, so we're in a good place here. Now, I may fiddle with this a little bit. We may see this machine in yet another video once I've got, if I can get the airport working, and certainly once I get USB up there, and just some showing off of what the machine can do. All right, be good to other people. Other people need it, and they deserve it. Be good to yourselves. Everything will start from there. We're going to make this world a better place. It's not right now, but until we do, take very, very good and careful care in these difficult times. Yes, so we're going to be back with you. Probably one more video on this, some other G5 stuff, some other G4 stuff, and I hope a lot of fun. So until that time, this has been Broken Electronics. Okay, very quick update. Airport is working fine. You can see the connection there. I just needed to click Apply the changes in system preferences. Duh. I'm more tired than I should be at this point. And There's our USB high-speed bus. And we go into PCI Cards. Now the driver is installed on all of them. It was the slot. That top slot, yeah, I noticed when I tried putting another card in there, it seemed kind of not as secure as the other. So evidently, it was able to see that something was plugged in, but it couldn't really tell exactly what it was. So anyway, we have our USB 2 now, and it is all complete. So, yeah, be good to everybody, be good to yourselves, etc. Take very, very good and careful care. Indeed, once again, this has been Broken Electronics.